1997, 1998, where we introduced the first digital television at very high price points. And it took several years, nearly a decade, until we started to see a mass market adoption of digital television. 01 to 03, we had a move from digital television to high definition television. We moved in 04 to 05 to big high definition televisions with very large rear projection sets. We then spent several years working to get that flat. And you'll recall the Panasonics of the world highlighting very large flat panel TVs. Not necessarily intended to be commercially successful, commercially viable products, but showing what was possible, showing that what was capable with the technology. The last couple of years, there was a focus on thin. So we had large flat panel televisions that we wanted to get thin. And over the next 4 years, 2012 to 2016, there are a few other attributes of this TV experience that will scale. We talked about internet connected already, so I'm going to focus just on the hardware aspects of the device. We're seeing a big push towards thin bezel and ultimately to bezel-less TVs. Corning at CES this week will launch their next edition of Gorilla Glass with the focus of getting to a very thin bezel or bezel-less device. 4K by 2K, we're going to see a variety of manufacturers highlighting their 4K televisions this week. Auto stereoscopic 3D without glasses is getting better, and again, it's still very early in the life of that technology. And then of course OLED, we've seen OLED at the show for many years. That continues to scale. The economies get better to that, and so prices come down. We're able to get better yields, we're able to get better panels. You'll see bigger panels this year at CES with respect to OLED. And just other things to look for. This is some technology invented by a company called HCO that waterproofs devices, allows devices to be submerged. But over time, they have the ability to influence how we use technology, where we use technology, and ultimately some of the things that we'll see at the show. So that's it. A few trends to think about as you walk across the show floor of the next couple of days and see some of the. It will feel like years to some of you, certainly by Thursday. I believe the next presentation is going to start very quickly. Allie, do I have time for any questions? Let's do 2 questions if you've got them, and if not, feel free to grab me afterwards. I'm happy to chat about these things later on.
Sean, well, was wondering, with 50% of shipping, television shipping this year having internet embedded in, when do you see a tipping point for cable? How's cable going to respond to this 2 or 3 years down the line?
So the question is, how is cable going to respond to the launch of internet connected to TVs? And I think that's a great question. Cable doesn't want to become a dumb pipe to these devices. They want to be able to add value, and ultimately everyone wants to be able to add value along the way. So one of the things you'll see from the hardware manufacturers is how they can add value to that connectivity besides just providing that connectivity. I think you'll see the same thing from the cable operators. How do we provide value beyond just providing connectivity? So I think you'll see more of a push getting their assets across devices and across connections. It's not just television, but across all of these other devices. As I mentioned, from companies like Dish and from Verizon this week, you'll see a push to more whole home, holistic media servicing, if you will. So allowing, again, not just television, but across all of these connected devices.
USB 선점용이 과연 하나만 될지 이것도 문제고.
So the question is, what's been the impact on cameras broadly, given the fact that we've got phones with pretty good camera attributes to them today? And one of the things you'll see at CES this week is you'll see phones launch with 12+ megapixel cameras. You're going to see very high-end camera features on some of these phones. One of the things I think we've seen in cameras continue to actually surprise to the upside. Volume remains there. There's been certainly a move within the market towards the prosumer, So consumers upgraded to a higher end camera, to a